Welcome to Roll and Relax. I am Claudia Mühlenweg. I am the creator of the Naturally Clear Vision method, and I'm a Bates teacher, a yoga teacher, and a role model method practitioner. And so we will be using these small little therapy balls to release tension in the fascias and the muscles. And today's focus is going to be on the upper back. So anything from the neck where we connect here to the trapezius, and I will show you the muscles we will be working on. You can do this practice at the wall, on the floor, except for one practice that we will be doing at the end. So if you prefer to do this on the floor, which is more intense, you can definitely do that. And before I show the muscles, I also want to say I'm going to be using yoga tune-up balls. These are the small balls from Tune-Up Fitness. If you don't have those, you can definitely use a tennis ball. However, a tennis ball, I would do it on the floor because it might be too slippery on the wall. It might fall down. You can also use the bigger balls from Tune-Up Fitness. These are called the plus balls, or you can use an alpha ball. So which is, here we go. This is the way it goes. So these are the different sizes you can use. I recommend these balls because they're really grippy. However, but if you don't have that ball and you just have another one, then if it's not a grippy ball, I definitely recommend going to the floor. So the first muscle, and I don't really like, I love these cards, but this one is not a great one, is the trapezius. I don't know, so here we go. Like the light, I have to turn the light a little bit so you can see it. So it's, excuse me, it looks like this is half of it, right? It looks like almost like a diamond. So we have the upper trapezius here that we will be working on, and then we also get a little bit into the lower trapezius. And here you see a side view. So this is really a humongous big muscle. It's like this thick, I mean, there's lots of layers of muscles, but it's like this really thick muscle here on the back. The other area that we will be rolling in the first area is the rhomboids. So there's the rhomboid minor, is this one, it's kind of the higher, and then here's the rhomboid major. And so I love these cards because they also explain what it does. So it downwardly rotates the scapula, the shoulder blade. So it does this kind of rotation down. And it also says on these cards how you can activate that muscle. So adduct your scapula. Scapula is the shoulder blade. So adducting means bringing it together. So basically squeezing the shoulder blades together. That's what the rhomboids do. And after that, we will be working directly on the shoulder blade. So there's a few muscles on the shoulder blade. One of the biggest one is the infraspinatus. So these are all part of the rotator cuff. Infraspinatus, then we have the teres minor here, and then this is the teres major. So I don't know if you can see it. It's like a rear view of the shoulder blade. And then we might also be touching, depending on how far you go toward this area here, you might also touch on this really big muscle, the latissimus dorsi. And then last but not least, that's the one thing we will be doing where we need a wall. In fact, you need a corner, is the kind of the top of the shoulder right here between the scapula and the shoulder blade. This is the supraspinatus. So this is a view from the back. So this is the top edge of the shoulder blade here. So it's right above it. And then also, it depends on how far back you go with that technique, is the levator scapula. So this is the one when you lift your shoulders up. So that's the action of that one. So those are the main muscles we will be working on today. But again, there's definitely more. I don't want to show you every single one. It would take a long time. So if you have two balls or the yoga tune-up balls, take them out of the toad. And then one more thing I want to say, when you do it at the wall like I'm doing, you want to be barefoot, especially if you have a hardwood floor. You don't want to slip, because the further away you step from the wall, let me see, I probably have to tilt this a little more down. The further you step away from the wall, the more intense it will be. So you place the balls kind of right here on top, kind of on that thickest part of the upper trapezius. And then again, you have to step away from the wall. I have to step away quite a lot because these muscles for me are not that super tight. And then just breathe into this. Just notice what's happening. Before you do any movement, just kind of do a few deep breaths. And then there's several ways you can move. So you can move side to side. I have a little knot there, like a little rope almost, like boom. So you can go, the balls will travel side to side. This one is easier at the wall. And you might have to reset them. This is the thing, they like to wander off. So reset them. Oops. It's a little bit behind the shoulder, right? So it's not right on top. And the other action you can do is you can bend and straighten your legs. So you basically, the balls will be traveling vertically. So they will be going up and down like so. And if you don't feel much, again, then do this on the floor. If you do it on the floor, you need to lift your hips up, right? You're coming into a bridge position, like a yoga bridge position, and lift your hips up. And then you do this by pushing and pulling into your feet. This is something I would usually do on the floor. I just wanted to show you how to do it. And so another thing you can do, you find the point that feels the most tight. And then on your inhale, you lift your arms up. This is really nice on the floor. And then lower them down. So inhale, lift your arms up, reach, and then exhale, lower them down. I have to find another spot. Inhale, lift them up. And exhale, lower down. All right, and then maybe a little bit more. And then let's do one more thing with two balls together. So the rhomboids, like I showed earlier, are the muscles between the shoulder blades. So you put the balls side by side, and we will be rolling from like the bottom of the neck, kind of any amount you want toward the bottom of the shoulder blades. And this is always best without any clothing on because you get the most amount of grip. I obviously have to wear clothes. So again, you step away from the wall, you place the balls side by side, and then just again, dangle, let your arms relax, just relax first, breathe into this. Get a sense of the lay of the land. And then again, you bend and straighten your knees, and so the balls will be traveling up. I have to go a little further away from the wall. And then you bend and straighten. And so the balls will be rolling, what would I say, maybe 20 centimeters or between your shoulder blades. For me, it's a little more tight on the upper part of the rhomboid. It's that rhomboid minor is a little bit worse than the one in the middle. And we will be doing this with one ball in a moment. And if you don't feel anything now, you will probably feel something then. So one thing that I like to do here is to give myself a hug and then just shift more into one ball and then the other. You have to still lean into them so they don't fall down. This is, again, easier to do on the floor. You can definitely go all the way to the side, or you put them balls in the tote. But yeah, lean a little bit more into one side and then the other. And just get a sense of like, where is it tighter? I feel like it's the same for me on both sides. Okay, and now we will remove one ball and explore with one ball this area of the rhomboid. And usually what's kind of tight is the medial edge or the inner edge of the shoulder blade versus toward the spine. So kind of right in that area. So place the ball right now. It's not on your shoulder blade. It's right on the inner edge facing the spine. And then do it with one ball. And yeah, right? It's already a little more intense. If this is a lot, if this is really painful for you, you can, and you have a bigger ball like the plus or the alpha, you can do that. These balls have the most amount of intensity, the small ones. This feels also good if I'm doing this right side. So if you hug yourself, so you're stretching, basically what you're doing with reaching the arm this way is you're stretching the rhomboids. Because remember, they get activated when you squeeze the shoulder blades together. So the more space you create, this is a good one. You can also wiggle a little bit side to side. Just kind of explore. And if I have to reset mine a little bit and go a little lower. You can also find a spot that feels tight. Like I have one, mine is more on the top inner corner of the shoulder blade. And then you can let your arm float around and see if there's an area where you feel more. But yeah, I definitely feel the most if I have that arm across, like, so I'm gonna keep it here. But just notice. Oh, I forgot one thing with two balls together. That's a really good. This is what I wanted to do with both balls together. So you kind of making, I always say jokingly, the Chanel logo, you go like C this way and bend this way. So this one you can do with both balls together too, but it's actually okay to do it with one, because unless this is really painful for you, then maybe do this kind of twisting or bending with both balls together. But I do it with one, it feels right perfect for me. All right, and then I'm scooching over to the other side. I just rolled along the spine to the other side. And you can always start with the arm relaxed if that's already really intense. And if you like explore, maybe move the arm around and see. Yeah, for me, it's definitely, I'm gonna scooch a little over here. It's definitely the most intense when I stretch my rhomboid. Now, what you can do too is you can do a contracted, like squeeze, squeeze the shoulder blades together and then stretch it. So you can kind of do a dynamic movement too, where you pull the elbow toward the wall to engage that left rhomboid, and I'm doing the left side, and then stretch it. I have to come up a little higher. But this contract, relax. So this is always a good technique to use on any muscle, is contracting the muscle. In this case, you're squeezing the shoulder blade. You're pretending to squeeze that shoulder blade in, and then you stretch it by leaning or reaching out the arm over. Squeeze, that feels good too. So anytime you add motion or you add contraction and then relaxing, that adds more intensity versus just compression. This is why these balls are so good, because they give you the grip. With most other balls that you use, a tennis ball or lacrosse ball, you will get more the pressure, but not so much that gripping. And that, when you move the limb around, you get really that, it grips the superficial fascia and the muscle and the skin. Yeah, I could do this forever. But let's move on and explore something different. So another move I really like, and again, explore, if you want to do this on the floor, it's totally fine. We will be using kind of a diagonal way to travel from the trapezius toward the rhomboid. And it looks like the starting point is here, right where we started with the trapezius. And look how my top goes inward. It's hard to show, but the end of the stop will be here toward the spine. So it's like as if I'm drawing a line from here to here. And it's a little bit of a weird movement. The first time I did this, it felt kind of strange, but let me show you. So again, we come, you actually, and you need to start with bent legs. It's super important. So I'm starting right here on the right trapezius. You have to bend your knees, because in order to get that ball to the lower part, right, toward the spine, you have to straighten your legs. So you have to start with really bent knees. And then you put your arm, I'm doing the right side, in the goalpost position. And then as you push your legs straight, you stretch the arm and then you bend. So that way the ball travels and then you come back on the exhale. So the ball travels from up here and then it goes toward my spine at the bottom edge of the shoulder blade. So you have to bend to the opposite side and straighten your legs. So here we go. On the floor, you would do this also with the bridge yoga position, where you lift your hips up and you do the exact same movement in the upper body. So you do that goalpost arm, you would just do it on the mat and then stretch it out and bend. This is a good one. So you're crossing over. Let me show you, just in case you had, I'm showing it to you on one of these cards. This is just showing the rhomboid, but basically you're starting here on the trapezius and then the ball will travel here. So it's kind of this action. This is the movement you want. Let's do the other side. So you, again, on the ball, you have to start with the bent knee position. Place the ball on the top of the trapezius. Goalpost arms, right? The ball is right here. You can see it there. And then as you straighten the leg, you inhale, and then you reach and you bend to the other side. I know it's a little weird movement, but it's so effective. And you might have to reset the ball. That happens at the wall. So inhale, as you reach up, you stretch your arm straight. You don't see my arm right now, but you go from a cactus arm or goalpost arm, whatever. Goalpost in American football. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense, right? So cactus arms. Inhale as you go up. I just did it the opposite way. And then exhale as you come down. So to lower the intensity level, you use a bigger ball. You go to the wall. To intensify it, to make it more intense, you use a smaller ball and you go to the floor. So that's the basic way of modifying. And also using an older ball will be, they are getting softer over time. Using a fresh, brand new ball will be more firm. So that also intensifies it. So one more time, exhale down and then inhale. Okay. So let's explore the shoulder blade. So now we will be, it's hot here, we will be basically rolling the ball on the shoulder blade anywhere. So remember the infraspinatus, the teres major and teres minor. So it doesn't matter where, you can also go all the way kind of toward here, toward the armpit area. So anywhere on the shoulder blade. You place the ball, and again, the further you step away from the wall, the more intense it will be. So now I'm on the shoulder blade. Oh, man. Yep. You can go up and down. Wow. And you can go side to side and just kind of see like where on the shoulder blade, where do you feel the most? I found a spot called the upper shoulder blade. And then just breathe into this. And this is another air. This is really good to let that arm float around like seaweed. Kind of like, are you like a slow motion ballerina? Whatever you want to imagine. This is very tight for me. So this is part of the rotator cuff, is the infraspinatus, teres major, teres minor, and the supraspinatus, which is on top. We will be working on that when another time. The supraspinatus is more right here on the outer edge, on the back. But yeah. You can also, again, any position where you feel the most, stay there. For me, it's definitely that medial edge of the shoulder blade where I feel the most, that I'm on the shoulder blade right now. And you can always go beyond off the shoulder blade if you feel more there. So if you feel nothing on the shoulder blade and you're like, doesn't matter, this is all gold, and then maybe go back to that area of the rhomboids on the inner edge of the shoulder, like not off the shoulder blade, but on the inner edge. That's where I feel more. But yeah, just if you feel nothing, then be happy. This can also be tricky, kind of toward the latissimus, the outer edge of the shoulder blade, the lateral edge. All right, and then let's switch to the other side. Today is trash day. I hope you don't hear the noise. It's trash truck is just driving by. So just get a sense of the lay of the land. Yeah. See, this is more the lateral upper edge of the shoulder blade on the left side. Isn't that interesting? I always so interesting how the body has different areas of tightness or tension that we might not really be aware of. And when you find a spot that's like the most intense, you can always just stay there and breathe. No need to add motion. Motion makes it more intense. But if you like, you can then float your arm around and just see, oh, yeah, see, this is intense now. Find the spot, and then the exhale is the best breath to use when you go into an area of tension. So you can do all of this on the mat too. On the mat, you have the option of lifting your hips up, which is kind of the equivalent of stepping further away from the wall, or having your hips down and just rolling on that shoulder blade. Lifting the hips is always way more intense, especially on the floor. If you have a new firm ball on the mat and you're lifting your hips, then that's the most intensity you can do. Yeah, and sometimes you have to reset the ball if it travels too low. Wow, I can show you. This is like, for me, it's like this area right here. It's really tight. Kind of toward that latissimus armpit area where I feel a lot. And it's also okay to stay at a spot, not move. And then maybe on the every exhale, you press a little bit more into the wall and you turn a little bit. So you kind of maybe toggle a little bit between the most intense point and off that intense point. This is something that feels really good. So be creative and just explore different motions, different movements. What I'm teaching you is a guide. It's a great way to explore, but you know, also kind of find your own way to find like the best kind of release. So the balls have many different options. You could also spin the ball, which is, it's hard for me to reach it right now. I could spin it, but it's trickier. But winding up the ball like a screw that you put in is always grabbing more of the tissues. Oh, yeah, this one I could stay on way longer. This is definitely interesting. I'm right-handed and the left side is a lot worse. Okay, so now we will do the last one. And you know, you're welcome to continue for those of you participating live. If you want to stay at a spot or go from the wall to the floor and compare the different things, it's a great thing to do. What I want to show you now is the one where you need a corner. And what we will be working on is that basically the supraclavicular area. So the clavicle is the collarbone, and it's this area, right, where the neck, right, this part between the shoulder blade and the collarbone, but also you can kind of go all the way to the levator scapula. So you can kind of explore this whole kind of top of the shoulder near the neck. That's what we will be doing. And I'm showing you, I have to tilt my computer down. Hopefully this is exactly what we need. So I'm doing my, what am I doing? I'm doing my left side. So I'm placing the ball right here, either here or here, pretty much close to the neck. It's, you know, ideally it would be on the skin. That's always better. So maybe if you have a top, you push it off. And so I'm doing the left side and I'm coming into lunge. I really wanted you to see my feet position. So maybe I have to turn this a little lower. Okay, like this. Let's see. This is where I need an assistant. So your torso is basically parallel to the floor, and then you push and have the ball right here on the wall. Push it right into that top shoulder, and then you see my rear foot. So my rear foot is like in the warrior one position. This is also a nice way to stretch your calves. You can also turn it in. And then you let that left, if you do the left side like me, you let the left arm dangle. And then you have the rear, from the back foot, you kind of press. So you can really squeeze into that. Ooh. And then don't forget to breathe. I have to remind myself. I'm definitely talking to myself here. Also, now you can add motion. And what I just did, tilting my head to the side, is if I'm saying no, that will stretch that area. So you can say no. You can say yes. Yes, this feels really good. No, I don't want any more tension. So create some movement. Make sure you let that arm dangle. I tend to tighten it up too. So let that side dangle. And this is like a really intense stretch when I'm looking kind of, not just no, but I'm looking back to my right shoulder. Just breathing. Now, if you want more, you can now add shoulder extension on the left side. And then again, I'm speaking of the side that I'm doing. If you do the right side, then obviously it's the right arm. Now you can add shoulder extension by bringing that left arm upward. And then you can do with the head whatever you want. I keep it in that maximum pain position, so to speak. But this is good pain. It's like for me, this is like a 4 or 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. But you don't want to go over like a 7. So add shoulder extension. You can also rest that arm on the back of your, basically on your sacrum. You can add the right arm, so you can kind of explore moving the shoulders around, or maybe moving that left arm forward. That's not as intense for me, but just kind of see how you can get the most. You can also, what I like to do too, like brace yourself with the other arm and then move your torso up and down. So the ball travels a little bit across that top of the shoulder. And for me, it's almost like a little rope. So this is when you go over the shoulder toward the back, that's where you reach that levator scapula, that muscle that is responsible for lifting the shoulder blades, which we often do unconsciously, especially if you pin a phone between your head and the shoulder, right? All those bad habits. Yeah, and if you find a good juicy spot, you just press into that. Oh, man, wow. Hi. Let's do the other side. Let's see, I probably have to tilt the computer a little over here. Okay, so I'm going to move scooch my top a little to the side so that I can get the ball directly on the skin. Okay, I need to tilt it up a little. You can see my head. There you go. Okay. So always here, you can see my foot. So you basically want to start by just pressing in and relaxing that that arm. Oh my God. Relaxing, I'm doing the right side, so I'm letting the arm dangle. I'm just pressing in. Maybe do that little bit of an up and down motion at the beginning. Again, this is not a set order. You can do all these movements in whatever order feels good. So when you do this first, maybe notice where you have the most amount. For me, it's definitely right on top. And then again, remember to relax that arm initially. It's so, this is the stuff, this is the unconscious tension when we engage a muscle that we don't really need for that first purpose. And then adding any head motion, saying yes, saying no. No usually is more intense for me. Exhale to the side and then inhale back to center, exhale. And then, you know, doing like, you can't really do a full circle, but maybe do a half circle with your head. Just really exploring all these different motions. And then maybe adding that extension. Oh yeah, so the right side is way more intense for me than the left. So adding shoulder extension, if you're doing the right side like me, bringing that arm back, the right arm back. So exhale it, lift it up, and then I would inhale, lower it back down. So I like to use the exhales to go into the more pain area, basically. And then you can leave it on the sacrum. If that feels okay to you, you can leave it there and just breathe. And this is a nice way to stretch your calf. I love this. So you're basically in the lunge with your feet. And obviously, if you can also have your torso higher, but the low, if you have your torso like me parallel to the floor, this is the most amount of pressure. If this is too much, you can also, you know, go higher, go here, for instance, right? And then it's less intense. I like it this way. So explore. And then maybe, you know, putting the hands together and adding more motion, just kind of moving it around. I feel the most when I just use the arm that I'm doing the side and then maybe move it forward. Yeah, for me, the extension is the most intense. Alrighty. So that concludes today's class, setting everything back straight. I hope this was helpful. You enjoyed this routine for your upper back at the wall. Everything we did except for the last thing on the corner, you can do on the floor on your mat. So that makes it more intense. So find your poison, so to speak, the best combination of the ball sizes, wall or floor, how far away you step from the wall if you do it at the wall. So yeah, this is especially this last one that we did, I do that every day because it's an area where, you know, it's like this unconscious chest breathing we do, that shrugging of the shoulders where we, you know, where we do something and I'm like, oh, relax the shoulders. Oh yeah, I didn't realize I was doing this the whole time. Okay, so if you are interested in learning more about vision improvement, go to myholisticvision.com, download my free guide, 10 Habits for Healthy and Happy Eyes, and join my free Facebook group, See Clearly Without Glasses. And if you want to go beyond that, I have a membership program called the Clear Vision Club. Just reach out to me or comment. If you watch this on YouTube, just comment below and I will send you more information. I'm also happy to offer you a complimentary consultation if you want to find out more what you can do to improve your eyesight naturally so that you can see clearly without glasses, contacts, or surgery. Goodbye for now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.